Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ellie and I'm the person behind Auburn and Peaches. I've never made a YouTube video before, so this is gonna be new. I'm not great with talking in front of the camera heaps, so we're just gonna kind of dive right into the first project that I thought I would do today, which is actually gonna be the first thing that I've sewn in 2025. So that's also really exciting. My first project for 2025 is going to be making something out of this beautiful duvet set that I picked up. It has some gorgeous beetles all over it, and I thought that I would start by making just a top with it. Let's get started. So I thought I would use the twig and tail patterns. If I'm clever, I can like make the picture of the pattern appear here. So yeah, I'm gonna use the twig and tail pattern, the Scenic top, but I'm gonna do the Vista sleeves. So the Scenic and their Vista tops, the sleeves are interchangeable. First thing I gotta do though is we need to rip it up. I have already pre-washed this fabric. Yeah. That's a bit weird. That must be part of the print. I don't know, can you see that? Like on the other side. It might be easier to see on this side. But there's like these bits. It does look like it's a repeating pattern though, like they're all the same. And it goes all around the duvet. Yeah, it must just be like part of the duvet, I guess. You can kind of see it on this side a bit. It's alright, it's my top. Right, where was I at with the ripping? I love that bit. Okay, right, there we go, separated. This one we don't need. This one, now we can cut our pattern pieces out of it. So I've got all of my pattern pieces cut out, and you can see like a lot clearer here what I'm talking about. Like, I did pick this duvet up secondhand, and I didn't notice this when I got it, but you can very clearly see it on the opposite side of the duvet. There's like, you can see it a little bit on the front, but like it's really clear on the opposite. And is this part of the pattern? Because it looks very similar but like slightly different, and it is repeating literally over the entire duvet. So I'm not sure. And like, does it just look like a weird stain? I mean, I did wash it, it is clean. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm still gonna make it, and it's a top just for me. If anybody has any ideas, let me know. But anyways, I've got all of the pattern pieces cut out. So I've got my front, my back, and my two sleeves. Do 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 do. Why do I have Jurassic Park stuck in my head? Yeah, if you don't have an overlocker or a serger to finish your seams, Twig and Tail actually have, whose pattern I'm making, have really great resources on their website on how you can finish your seams differently. You can do a zigzag stitch, you could do French seams. Yeah, obviously I'm going for the overlocker just because that's what I have. I think I might want to do some more French seams in the future. But I'm not really like a texture sensitive person, so I don't mind the feel of overlocker stitching on my skin. I know that some people do, in which case French seams are probably the way to go. I thought we would just try it on as it is right now. See what we're working with at the moment. Oh, look at that, beautiful. It's looking nice. I don't know what it is looking like yet with that little patch, you know, that is on there, because again I can't really see it that well in person, but maybe I can see it better in camera. So yeah, next we'll add the sleeves and we'll finish the neckline. I'm just ironing the sleeves, so this is where the hem and the elastic is going to thread through. I like to iron this down where I'm going to like the casing for the elastic on the sleeves before I stitch them together, just because I find that you know, the fabric holds that iron line a bit more, so it just makes it easier when I go to stitch it. Yeah, just makes it easier for me. Tea is the fuel for life. Honestly, I could never imagine myself saying that like 10 years ago. If you haven't guessed by my accent, I am American, from Florida and North Carolina. Kind of lived half and half between both, but I've lived in the UK for how many years? 7 years? 8 years? And I didn't drink tea before I came to the UK, because obviously growing up in Southern America, tea is like iced tea and it's really, really sweet. And it was never my thing. Did not like iced tea. So when I met my partner, who's British, she obviously drinks tea. And I was like, that's disgusting. And then I was like, living in the cold winters of the UK, and hot tea, it's great. I'm an avid tea convert. You've got me UK, you've converted me. I drink so much tea now. Perfect. Right, let's stitch this up. Right, so I'm going to start with some long stitching at the top, because I'm going to gather it a little bit when I attach it to the shirt. So change my stitch length as long as it will go. I set my stitch length back. Now I'm going to sew the sleeves together, and I think I'll actually clip it this time. Oh, my bobbin. Oh no, there's enough left. Yeah, there's enough left. We can make it. Ooh, I don't know if we're gonna make it. Oh. We didn't make it. There's like the tiniest bit left. We didn't make it. I like to have just like a different thread, so that I don't have to like unthread my whole machine and rethread it again. So I just have a separate standby thread for when I run out on my bobbin. And because I'm using like a really big thing and it's really annoying through this thing, I do it this really weird way. Finish this little tiny bit. And then somehow, I'm not really sure how, but like when I cut the fabric, I didn't do a very great job. So I'm just gonna go and cut that so it's the same, and then re-iron it so that when I do my elastic casing, it fits a lot nicer. So I'm gonna go do that really quick. Right, so I've gone ahead and overlocked the seams on the sleeves and re-ironed where I'm going to put the casing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stitch the bottom of the sleeve, and I'm going to leave a small gap here that I can thread my elastic through that. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch that now, and then we'll thread it. Right, so I've stitched all the way around and I've left a gap here, so now I just need to cut my elastic and thread it through. Okay, so I've got my elastic cut. So the length of elastic that you're going to want to use depends on your size. The pattern that I'm using tells me that my elastic should be 26 centimeters, so that's what I've cut. I'm going to start by taking a safety pin and popping it on one end, and then I'll start threading it through the gap of my casing here. Right, once I get to about this far on the end of my elastic, I like to take another safety pin and just pop it here so that I know that I won't accidentally pull that elastic through and lose it. So I just pop a safety pin there and then I'll keep threading through. Coming to the opening again. So here's my safety pin. I'll just pull it through. And I'll just move some of the gathers around. So I've got my two ends sticking out, and I'll just show you how I like to finish them. So first I'll take my safety pins off. So I'll just kind of pull them a bit more like this. Right, I'm going to try to get like a closer up of my sewing machine to show you how I like to connect them together. Because what I don't like is I don't like it if I were to sew it like this and there's a bit of like a bulge, because if it's on my wrist, like that annoys me on my wrist. So I like the elastic to sit like flat together like this. I grab some scrap fabric, and it can be like literally any fabric, but this is some of the offcuts that I have. So I'll cut a tiny bit off of that, and then it's a little bit fiddly, but you need to line up the elastic on the fabric like this. On my machine I set it to a zigzag stitch and like the widest stitch that it will go, and then I'll lower the stitch length to maybe 1. Normally I'm stitching on a stitch length of 2, so I'm just halving that stitch length. Okay, so I'm going to try to line it up as best as I can. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Just want to get it to where you can put that presser foot down. There we go. And then I'll just start zigzag stitching. I just do it a couple of times to make it there, and there you go. So it is, I mean, I didn't line it up perfectly, but that's okay. So at this point I then cut away the fabric and cut away this fabric here, and then that will just slide into the casing. So then just to get it into the casing, we're just pulling it back a little bit, and it should go right inside that casing nice and neat. So then what I'll do is I'll just put my machine back to a straight stitch, back to a stitch length of 2, and back to a stitch width of 2, and then I'll close that casing up. And then just to get the gathers even around, you're just gonna give it a little bit of pull. There's the cuff of the sleeve all finished. We are almost there, which is great because I need to go pick my son up in like an hour and a half, and I haven't eaten lunch yet. This takes so much longer to record everything than it is to actually just do it. I don't know how this is gonna go with future YouTube videos. It just takes such a long time for me to like change all the camera stuff, to get all the different bits and record all the different bits for the video. Maybe I'll get better at it with more time, but today it's really taken a long time. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to be attaching the sleeve to the shirt, and then I'll go ahead and stitch all around it. Okay, so the sleeves are attached. I'm really, really happy with how it is looking so far. So the only thing that is left to do is to hem the bottom and do the neckline. I've also just remembered that I need to walk my dogs before I go pick my son up, which then takes another hour out. So I only have like 10 minutes left to try to finish this and like then feed myself and walk the dogs before I need to go pick up my son. So I really don't think I'm going to get it finished actually today, because I've faffed around way too much with all the camera stuff. So I think what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to hem the bottom of this, and then I'll save the neckline for tonight after my son goes to sleep. So I don't think I'm going to record any of that process just because I want to get it done. Okay, bye. I am back. My toddler is asleep in bed, so I'm gonna finish this. All I have left to do now is finish the neckline. I'm really tired, aren't I? I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna finish this today. So to finish the neckline, I'm going to use some bias binding. Depending on the project that I do, like I might make the bias binding from the fabric, but usually when it's a personal piece, I just use like some bias that I have already made from a previous project, and I kind of like doing that because it also reminds me of the other project that I've done in the past. I think I'm gonna go with this one. You're not gonna see it. I'm gonna fold it so that it's gonna be on the inside of the shirt. But yeah, I'm gonna just use one that I already have made so I don't have to make a whole nother one. And this one is from a dress that I made just before Christmas last year. It was a beautiful custom dress for another Ellie that I met at a market, and yeah, she gave me these beautiful tea towels and different fabrics for me to patchwork together to create her dress. This is the binding that I made for her dress, and I'll now use the leftover of it to make my top. The first step is done. I'm gonna go take this to my ironing board and then come back and sew around it again. I like to take this step quite slow because I don't want to like pull on the binding too much and it stretch out and like skew the neckline. So I always go quite slow doing the neckline and just make sure I'm being really careful with the direction. But there we go. One last thing that I wanted to show you. So the top is really pretty much finished, but one last little thing that I wanted to show is when I had attached the sleeves, and I then did my overlock around the armhole, I've still got tails from that overlocking. So I don't want to just cut it off because then I have like loose threads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to instead thread my tails through the stitching here. I have one of these things, I don't know what they're called, but basically you pop it through the needle first, and then you can grab the tails to stick through, and then you can pull it out, and that just helps put those tails in that needle. And I thread it through like this. Pretty sure I learned this hack on TikTok. Don't remember who I saw do this, but thought it was really clever, and I have since adopted it into all of my sewing. And pull it through, and then that secures it a bit more, and then I'll go ahead and cut the end of that tail off there. So it's just a bit nicer finish, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll flip her right side and see what it looks like. Okay, let's flip her right side. Ta-da! Oh, cute. I think I might give the neckline one more little press, and then I'll try it on. And there we go. So this is my new my new top. I'm really happy with it actually. Yeah, I mean I don't think I would wear it with these trousers. It's a bit much green. But yeah, I really like it. So this is the Twig and Tail Scenic with the Vista sleeves. There we go. Thank you so much for sticking around for my first YouTube video. It is really nerve-wracking to make this video and kind of put it out there. I don't know what the next video is going to be, but if you like what you saw today, then yeah, maybe hit that subscribe and be one of my first subscribers, because that would be really cool. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, and whatever else it is that like YouTube people do. Okay, bye!